I get it. The immediate question that some may have is, what's the point of going to God for what you want if he may deny it? Well, it's simple. When you consider that when God blesses, he adds no sorrow to it. So it's not that God doesn't want to see you happy or that he's even denying your request, but God may not like your course of action to gain that request. Which is why when you continue without God's insight, the idea tends to fail. And that's okay. Every idea has a point where you need to face the wall of impossibility in order to realize that it's going to take something more than what you can offer to make that idea work. That's why it's best that we wait on God to supply our needs as well as our wants. Because if we're not careful, we could find ourselves in a battle against God instead of working alongside him. We could think that we know what's best for our lives, when in actuality, our decisions can result in us hurting ourselves and our families. Think about it this way. Do you know what tomorrow holds? God does. And when he does anything, he will consider the sum as well as his individual counterparts before he grants a request. While your best guess comes from a limited vantage point. Ask yourself, how am I going to maintain what I work so hard for? And then I want you to expand that plan by about 5 years to see if it's going to work. Did you consider how your plans could change if your life ends tomorrow? Which leads me to my next segment. We have to be careful, especially in 2022, where we're getting our blessings from. Sure, we may look at everything that we acquire as a blessing, but it isn't until we have problems with said blessing that we realize that it's not so much of a blessing after all. These blessings can come from friends, significant others, clubs, or nonprofits. It may even come from an enemy. Let's take the time to run through a quick example of how deceptive our idea of a blessing could be. We barely scrape by to buy a new car. The car is brand new, drives smooth, goes fast, looks great. But one day the engine light comes on and you don't have enough money to fix it yourself or to pay the deductible for insurance to fix it either. What do? You proceed to go to God in hopes he'll make a way where seems to be no way. And after time, it just seems like there's just one problem after the other with your new vehicle. And the joy you once shared is now gone. In this scenario, God knows you have need of a car. But the way you go about it has to be different than just looking at an advertisement of the latest and greatest. Traveling from point A to point B has to be in the forefront alongside affordability. Remember, it's just a start to your testimony of how you came from nothing to something. So can you see how you could get a blessing from anywhere, but only with time we realize what's for us from what isn't? And normally the distinguishment we make comes from the longevity of the item. Spend your time on what God has given you control over. And what he's given you control over is yourself and your actions. Have you prayed to God for more wisdom, more understanding and patience? Work on yourself while God works on your blessings, so that when he's ready to bless, you're ready to receive. God bless.